Chapter 5 Nazi parachutes attack America and get shot down over Flint River by Captain Byron Watson and his flamethrower of death. Byron got caught lighting matches again, and it looked like this time Mama was going to do what she has always said she would. That's when Joetta turned on the tears and cried and begged so much that Mama let him off. She swore to him, though, the next time he got caught setting fires, she was going to burn him. She told him that same sad old story about when she was a little girl and her house caught on fire. And for 2 years after that, she and her brothers had to wear clothes that smelled like smoke. Even though the story made Mama and Joey get all sad and sobby, it was kind of funny to me and Vi. We heard it so many times that Byron had given it its own name. He calls it Mama's Smokey the Bear story. I won't have you putting this family in danger. Just one more, Byron. Once more, Byron Watson. One more time, and you're burned. Then, to show Byron how serious she was, Mama raised her right hand and said, I swear that with God as my witness. I got on I got put on punishment for a month, but even before the week was gone, he started up again. I was up at the bedroom looking at comic books when I heard Byron go into the bathroom and lock the door. I knew something was up because he only locked the door when he had something to hide. So I sneaked to the bathroom door and I peeked through the keyhole. By was pretending that he was making a movie called Nazi Parachutes Attack Us America and Get Shot Down Over the Flint River by Captain Byron Watson and his flamethrower of death. I could see that he made a bunch of little toilet paper parachutes, and when he yelled, Action! He set them on fire, and he dropped them over the toilet. The guy in the Nazi parachute screamed, and he floated down in flames and landed in the water with a loud sss. But before a parachutist was dead, By would flush the toilet, and the Nazis would go down the drain, going glub, glub, glub. When the water was swirling him away, Byron said, the only Nazi talk that he knew, You hold mine fewer, off we der same. Peeking through the keyhole, I could see Byron salute the parachute when he flushed the toilet. Such a brave soldier deserves our respect, he said. So we give him a burial at sea. The toilet stopped glugging, and Byron said, Not too bad. But let's have a little more screaming on the way down. And how about having a flamethrower of death turned up little bit? So he picked up another toilet paper parachute, lit 2 matches at the same time, set the parachute on fire and yelled, Take! And sent the next 2 Nazis screaming into the toilet. Byron was on the take 7 when Mama finally wondered why was the toilet being flushed so much and came upstairs to see what was going on. Well, the whole upstairs smelled like a giant match, and she knew something was fishy. Even before she got to the top step, she moved so quickly and quiet, I still had my eyeball in the keyhole when she stepped up into the hallway. I looked up, and there she was. Mama, she knew I was going to get I knew I was going to get it for not turning Byron in but before I could say anything else, Mama pushed me out of the way. She hit that bathroom door with one of her shoulder like Elliot Ness, the cop on the Untouchables TV show. The door jumped out of the way and banged into the bathtub. Byron turned around, screamed. Nazi number 7 hit the water with a hiss. Byron threw his hands up in the air and said, Mama, Mama snatched Byron's neck and stopping just to pick up the matches that Byron had dropped. She dragged him all the way down the stairs. I could see Mama had forgotten all about me, so I followed right behind. As they went down, By's feet touched the steps only 1 or 2 times. He looked like he was one of those ballerinas that dance just before the tips of their toes. Mama had her hand around his throat like it with a baseball bat, and she was holding him up in the air. I never knew Mama to be so strong. That dance They danced onto the living room, and Joey started looking nervous. She ran over to me and huddled up next to me. Mama's eyes got slitty, and with those eyeballs shooting around from side to side, it was almost too scary to watch. But I kept looking since I knew there was going to be some kind of big action this time. Joey grabbed a hold of my arm and said, "What's going on? What'd he do?" She was starting to get jumpy because she'd never seen Mama so mad either. I felt kind of sorry for Byron because Mama hadn't let go of his neck, and even though he was a lot older, we could tell he was just as scared as me and Joetta. He was kept pretending he was daddy cool, though, but the only way you could tell he was scared to death was to looking in his eyes. Mama kept her hand on Byron's neck and pushed him down on the couch and stood right in front of him. She opened her hands that hadn't been choking him. She looked at the matches she picked up off the bathroom floor. While one hand had been strangling Byron, the other hand was strangling those matches. The matches were soaking wet because whenever Mama got scared or nervous or mad, her hands got real sweaty and disgusting. Mama's voice got strange, hissing like a snake. "Joetta, go out into the kitchen and bring me a book of matches." "But Mommy," Joey said, starting to get all sobby. "Joetta, do what I told you." "Mommy, I can't." The tears really started coming, and Joey was squeezing my arm. "Joetta, go get those matches." "Please, Mommy, he won't do it again. Will you, Byron? Promise hit me, her bright. Promise, Mommy, you won't do it again." "Kenneth," she turned to me then, "go get some matches." This is what I was afraid of. Because if I didn't go get the matches, I was going to be in worse trouble than I already was with Mama. And if I did go get the matches, I knew Byron would kill me as soon as he got back from the hospital. Mama, Move, young man!" "Mama, wait a minute. I can't move. Joanna's got my arm, and if I move—" Mama pointed her finger at Byron and said, "Don't you move a muscle." We could all tell Mama was super mad because she started talking in that real Southern style accent. Byron nodded his head, and Mama let go of his throat and then stormed into the kitchen. Old Mr. Cool still had great big bug eyes, and as soon as Mama's hand left his neck, his own hands came up and started choking him themselves. "Ooh, Byron, you better get out of here. Go down to Bubhead's until Dad gets home. He's probably going to whip you, but Mama's really going to burn you," I told him. "Please, Byron, run. Get out of here." Joey let go of my arm and ran over to Byron and tried to pull his fingers from around his throat. "Can't you tell she's not playing?" Joey kept pulling on his hand, but it looked like Byron was hypnotized, and he wouldn't move. We all nearly jumped through the roof when the snake woman voice came back into the room and said, "Joetta, you move away from him." Mama was carrying a piece of paper towel, a jar of Vaseline, and a Band-Aid in one hand, and a fresh, dry book of matches in the other. She wasn't even going to take him to jail. She was just going to set him on fire and patch him up right at home. Joetta saw the Vaseline and went crazy. "Oh no, Mommy! Let Daddy whip him! Please, please!" Joey began pulling her braids and stamping her feet up and down. "Please don't set him on fire!" Her face was all wet and twisted up, and she looked like a real nut. It was hard to do, but I kind of felt sorry for Byron. Though not too sorry, because I knew he deserved whatever happened. First, because he had a chance to escape and he didn't take it, and second, because he was being a bad influence on me. Nazi parachutes attack America and get shot down over the Flint River by Captain Byron Watson and his flamethrower of death. Looked like a real cool movie for me to make, too. If Mama just gave Byron some stupid punishment, then maybe it would be worth it for me to flush some Nazis down the drain myself. But if you got to set on fire for doing it in the movie, wasn't worth making. So I felt sorry for Byron because of what was going to happen to him. I did want to see if Mama would keep her word, and I always wondered what part of him she would burn, his face, his hair. Maybe she would just scare him by lighting his clothes on fire while while he was in them. But if she was really going to set his clothes on fire, why did she need Vaseline? I knew Mama was going for the skin. Joetta, move away. Mama's voice still sounded strange. Joey spread her arms out on the side like a traffic cop and stood between Mama and Byron. No, Mommy, wait! Mommy gently set Joey to the side, but Joetta kept hopping back with her arms spread to protect Daddy Cool. They wrestled like this a couple times before Mama finally set all the burning equipment down, sat on the coffee table, and pulled Joey onto her lap. She wiped Joey's stupid tears away with a paper towel and rocked her back and forth. Shh, honey, shh. When Joey finally stopped crying, she blew her nose. Mama said, Sweetheart, I'm so proud of you. I know you're trying to protect your brother, and that's a good thing. And I know you don't want to see him get hurt, right? Joey sniffed and said, No, Mommy. But, honey, some of the time, Mama has to do things she doesn't want to do. Now, you really don't think I want to burn Byron, do you? Joey had to think about this. The matches and first the aid stuff and the crazy look in Mama's eyes, and her eyes made it seem like hurting Byron was exactly what Mama wanted to do. But Joey didn't say anything. Mama had to answer the question herself. No, dear. Mama doesn't want to hurt Byron, but I don't want you going to school smelling like smoke either. And I don't want to see you or Kenneth or Daddy or Blackie or Tiger or Flipper or Flapper get burned up either. And if that boy, Mama's voice grew strange again and looked over at Byron, who was still being held on the couch by his own hands. If that boy sets fire to this house, on fire with his nonsense, I don't know what I'm going to do. Mama's voice got real strange, was coming back. So, Joetta, don't you see how Mama has to help Byron understand how dangerous and painful fire can be? Don't you see we've tried everything and nothing seems to be getting through the rock head of his? Joetta thought about her stupid cat, her goldfish, getting burned up and looked kind of hard over at Byron. But look at him, Mommy. He's really, really scared this time. Maybe he won't. Joetta, he's not that scared yet. Then Mama dropped the bomb on Joey. Besides, don't you remember, sweetheart? Don't you remember when this happened last week and I swore to God if Byron did it one more time, I would burn him? And what do you think? What do you think I should break my word to God? Joey was at the age when you're real religious. She went to Sunday school 3 days a week. Honey, should I break my word to God? No, Mommy, Joey said. And she scrunched her face up like she was eating something sour and cried out, Since you promised, I guess you gotta do it. She took a giant deep breath and sobbed, Go ahead and burn him up. Joey climbed off Mama's lap, and Byron's eyes got bigger and bigger, but his traitor hands kept him pinned to the couch. But please, Mommy, don't burn him up too bad, okay? Please, please. Joey was starting up again. Oh, don't you worry, sweetheart. I won't. I'm just going to burn his fingers enough so he won't be tempted to do fire ever again. Those were like magic words. Snapped Byron right out of his spell. Mama put him on. It was like his hands said, Fingers? Did did she say she was gonna burn some fingers? Because when they found out it was them they were gonna get burned, they let go of Byron's throat and joined the rest of his body, deciding to wait for bump heads until Dad got home. Byron was fast. Mama was faster. He didn't even make it out the living room before Mama tackled him. Mama sure is a good athlete. She sat on his chest and said, Not this time, Buster. This time you pay. She said, Buster. Byron squirmed around for a second and then he did something I've only seen him do a couple times before. He started crying. Mama lit a match, grabbed Byron's wrist, and said, Put your fingers out. I couldn't believe it. Bi's finger popped right out. He was hypnotized all over again. Mama's horrible snake voiced woman came out of him and said, "If you ever," the match got closer and closer to Byron's skinny brown finger, "play with no, if you ever even look at." Byron's hand was shaking and he was crying like a big baby, but his finger was still stayed out. Another match in this house. The match was getting closer and closer, and I knew Byron could feel the heat. "I will personally, by myself." It was so close now I thought I could hear the sweat on Byron's finger getting turned into steam and going psst. "I will burn. I will burn. Not just one finger. I will burn your entire hand, and then I will send you to the juvenile home." Byron looked, his eyes had screamed. Right when the fire was going to give him a good roasting, Joetta ran across the room and sounded like she was a little engine that could. She blew the match out before it got to him. She thought she missed, though, because she stood there, huffing and puffing and patooing, and the match, even after it went out, Mama's hand, Byron's finger, and the match were soaked with Joey's slob. "Honey, we agreed, didn't we?" "Yes, Mommy," Joey looked down and said. But I thought you got him." "Not yet, sweetheart, but I'm going to." 4 more times Mama lit the match, and 4 more times Joey patooed them out. Finally, Mama got sick of having slobber all over her hands and gave up. That night, Byron had to deal with Dad. Ooh, no picnic. But a lot better than ending up in the Nazi parachute movie and Captain Byron Watson getting captured by and burned alive by the evil snake woman with his own flamethrower of death.